I know it's not very nice. I want to go back to this last interview that Chris Watts had with the feds, Graham and Tammy. Tammy with a rocket in her pocket. And I just don't understand when they said that they wanted to understand more and specific things that got said, that they walked over them and then carried on. I know they're not nice things that I'm going to bring up, but as the word was mentioned, why wasn't it talked about more? So basically, the first one is about Shanann. Okay, so I'm going to play the bit and then I'll talk about it afterwards. This is regarding him explaining what was happening while he was strangling his wife. So just going to play this bit.
Screaming? Okay.
So we've just heard the word screaming. So now we know Shanann suffered. She suffered at his hands. She was screaming. She was suffering. So why is that dismissed? And then Graham goes on to something else, which you will hear. I will play a bit more of it so you can hear it a bit more, you know, what the whole thing.
Beautiful minutes, I don't know if that was beautiful minutes.
Did you cover her face at all during that time?
Both hands on the neck. Okay. And so if it's done right, I mean, that can be a matter of seconds before someone on their carotid loses oxygen to their brain and it's out, right? Did it seem like it was that quick, or? Okay. Maybe a minute, maybe two? Okay. Screaming? Okay. All right. Did you see eyes go bloodshot or anything like that?
So there you go. It's the first time that we've heard about something, because they've all died horribly, and yet it's the first time something is mentioned like that. Screaming, like she was screaming, and it's completely walked over, and then he talks about something else, Graham. I thought they wanted to come and understand more, yet they've walked over really important tiny bits of information in the fact that it's just a couple of words, but extremely important. Shanann suffered. She's screaming. What, nobody heard her screaming? The children did. Didn't any of the neighbours hear her screaming? Now on to the next bit about Bella. This bit is also really important. It is a few words leading up to the word I'm getting to, and then I will talk about that afterwards. But if you understand, he's now said another word. We're now going to hear that we actually know that Bella suffered. We now know that Bella suffered. And Graham did the same thing. The moment he's actually saying something about, well, they choking and things like this, Graham then changes the subject. So just play this bit.
I made like a hole in her gum.
I'm just thinking maybe it's like, maybe like if her hand was not, her head was like twisting back and forth, could that have done that?
Yeah.
If I had a blanket, I don't know, like.
Did you feel her doing that thrashing or trying to get away?
I felt her head moving back and forth.
You did?
But I didn't know that happened.
Could you tell if she was trying to yell or say anything, or?
The only thing was Daddy no, and then like some like a grunt here and there, trying to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, do you remember getting phone calls from Nicole Atkinson?
Like some like a grunt here and there, trying to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, do you remember getting phone calls from Nicole Atkinson?
Well, as far as I can see, the picture that he's sitting with Tammy that she took isn't real and is all weird and has got legs as arms and etc, etc. We've done that one. When we get to two important things, we've actually heard more, because don't forget, we've got the videos supposedly, and then the rest is silence, except they've been killed from their side. And suddenly we hear that Shanann was screaming and Bella was choking and whatever, you know, those things. And then the police, the feds walked right over it and didn't carry on the questioning on those very important things. We, you know, after asking them and saying them or hearing them, they actually moved on without asking more questions. I just find that really, really weird. Many people were very, very upset with this piece of information. You know, like, it kept us glued for weeks and weeks, and that's probably how it all really got very deep into this whole thing. Is about someone saying they didn't know that they were married, when actually there is a document which states that she did know. But we get this piece of information, and I just wondered, like, when someone lies like that to the police, they don't get a ticking off or anything. Anyway.
What did she know about you? Did she know you were married first?
She did, once I showed her the pictures on the phone. On the, like, you know, the home screen picture and everything.
So was your wife in that picture, or was it just your girls?
It was just my girls right there, but my wife was the lock screen.
Oh.
So she knew I was married and my kids.
Okay.
Are you aware that she said she didn't know you were married?
And are you not allowed to talk to her?
I would hope not.
Okay. No one told you that, though?
No, I mean, I would expect, like, I thought, like, in Colorado it said, like, a DOC list. If you're on, like, a victim list, you can't call anybody.
Oh, right.
But here, I'm not sure if that's the same, but I just talked to my sister.
So, basically, the one thing that really got everything was the fact that NK was lying. We actually learned she's lying, and no one's had a word with her about a great big lie on this case. Great big lie on this case. And also, what we hear is he knows that his girlfriend is on some kind of victim list, right? Victim list. So if she's on some kind of victim list, right? So I know she's a victim of Chris Watts. But why would the police on a victim list give out her name, address and telephone number to everyone? Just like everybody in the case. Everybody's names, addresses, telephone numbers, emails, whichever way they got in touch with them, didn't bleep out any of their names and addresses or anything, just gave everybody's names and addresses. The parents, his parents, Shanann's parents, everybody. I just find that really weird. But anyway, so he knows she's on some kind of victim list. So there you go. Maybe she was being protected then. As it's mentioned in this, I know what's coming next. Tammy's going to tell you what Chris Watts is going to do next. This is what's going to happen.
So, yeah, just tear it up, throw it away.
Have you thought about, like, writing a book or anything like that?
No, that's, you know,
Everybody's doing these live streams every day, talking about all this information. There's this big thing with Thrive going all over our Facebook. Even the police mentioned Thrive. Very strange, you know, businesses here. And yet, something else very important happens. He basically drops Shanann down the stairs because she's too heavy to carry.
Did you carry her like this? Did you drag her? How did you do it?
attempted to pick her up and take her down, but I lost grip after a little while and just had to pull.
Did Bella see you do that? What was Bella saying?
She started crying a little bit. She's like, "What's wrong with Mommy?"
I cannot understand why when Chris Watts says, "Oh, didn't you have a video of the drive?" and Graham turns around and says it's unclear. I mean, that must have been one of the most watched videos ever of a drive, that everybody saw another shadow come in, and then Chris Watts or whatever it was or whatever went down and picked up the other shadow that was moving towards him. How can the police say that the video was unclear? It was definitely clear, and it was an extremely big talking point on YouTube about that shadow. In fact, loads and loads and loads of you wrote to the police to tell them about the shadow on the drive. Even my videos of the drive got sent to the police by viewers because it was so obvious. There was a small shadow, like a child, definitely not a dog, walking towards that he scoops down and picks up. And we actually know that supposedly the children were alive when they went to the gas field. So how could the police say that that shadow was unclear? Oh my goodness. I just don't... There's so many things that are wrong. Anyway.
And both alive at that point. Okay. Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point?
There were.
Okay.
Wasn't it a video or anything?
It's hard to see. Okay. And I believe you. I'm just I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving you all.
And you can see the shadows going that way because he's coming that way. So let's play that again. He's coming from the left and going to the right. So his shadow is going that way. The shadow's still on the right of him, but the shadow's going that way because he's coming in from that direction. So there he is in the cab doing something of the car, van, truck, whatever. There he is, coming from the right. The shadow's going that way. Still on the right of him, but it's going that way. So I want to know what that is. I want to know who that is. Did you see that? Did you see that? Play it again. There you go. Shadow came from this way. He's over here, going that way. So his shadow is behind him. There's two shadows. Do you see that? They merge. And if I play it backwards, he's out of shot and the shadow's there. Did you see it? Did you see it down here? That shadow is there before him. He's not here. There he is. The shadow's nearly all there. And then he goes and gets it. Down he goes. Up he goes. When you go back, the shadow is there and he's not there. So, not only does Graham say that it's not clear, when actually this would put people in prison just for that little bit of footage anyway. I know he's got 5 life sentences, but like they gave him a sentence without actually knowing the truth at all, right? And then you actually find that after he's killed Shanann, right, and he's going to take those children off and kill them, that he actually remembers to pick up his lunchbox. He actually remembers to pick up his lunchbox. Oh my goodness. There are so many things wrong. We've been given so much information, so much footage, and yet things just don't add up. And extremely important things that they needed to talk about more weren't asked. I just can't believe, like I say, the police giving out all the information, this footage of the drive. Right, I made that video months, weeks and weeks before the prison interview. It's months ago now. And they said it's unclear. We've heard that Shanann was screaming. He dropped her down the stairs after she died, and that's not very nice. Just the whole thing, there's just not any information of, and of course Bella was choking and struggling for life, and then the subject gets changed. There's just so many anomalies with this case, but here is the ones that really get me from that interview. Everybody thinks all these things are going on and all these live streams where everybody's chugging along and chug, pull. Come on, more, every day, stream, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This story of Shanann Watts and Chris Watts, all starting to be romanticised, posters up like it's Hollywood, when actually so many of the questions aren't answered and everybody's chugging on, like repeating the scripts over and over and over and over again. When all the important questions aren't being answered. I really, really hope that many people can see that there's something really, really, really wrong. I've broken down a lot of the videos with us, just showing you that there's things really wrong with the footage, and also many things aren't answered. Yeah, anyway, I hope people can see that there are many problems.